Welcome to Millionaire DP, a place where future millionaires come to gain knowledge and get motivated through ours millions of story. Hello, and welcome back to another amazing video. Today we are counting down the top 10 expensive places to travel to in the world. For this list, we are looking at those destinations that are known for being tough on the wallet, based on a mix of travel, accommodation, food, and other expenses. London is the capital of England, and the United Kingdom is one of the most expensive cities in the world. There are numerous places to visit in London on a holiday. Some of the best places to see in London are Big Ben, Madame Tussauds Museum London Eye, and Tower of London. If you're looking for art or architecture, then London is best place to visit for you. London has been honed into a genuinely incredible city through its 2,000-year history. London is famous for its art, architecture, food and fashion, some of which it does better than anywhere else in the world. If you are willing to stay in luxury 5-star hotel, you can rent out the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Hyde Park London, Four Seasons Hotel London at Park Lane the Lanesborough, and many more 5-star hotel with best amenities, from top-rated spas and gyms to Michelin-starred chefs and opulent design styles. While meal prices in London can vary, the average cost of food in London is $34 per day. Based on the spending habits of previous travelers, when dining out, an average meal in London should cost around $13 per person. Breakfast prices are usually a little cheaper than lunch or dinner. You can also plan a visit to the city on a low budget. However, you will have to skip the luxury and much more comfortable to do so. Sydney, capital of New South Wales and one of Australia's largest cities, is known for its yacht-studded harbour, superb beaches and the iconic Opera House with its towering sail structure. It comes under top 10 most expensive cities in the world to visit, and the third position for the most expensive city for dinner out. Food and drinks are costly in this city, but there are few things that you can do for free. You can explore the free museums, art galleries, beautiful beaches, stunning public coastal walks that allow you to enjoy the spellbinding natural beauty of Sydney. Foodies will particularly find Sydney desirable as the capital has 10 Michelin-starred restaurants for you to enjoy. This includes one of the planet's top-rated restaurants known as Quay, the Rocks, which was one of the most expensive restaurants of Sydney. For most Westerners, the flight to Sydney alone will cost a pretty penny, with prices from LA averaging around $1,000. If you ever plan to visit Sydney, never miss their famous food: barbecued snags, lamingtons, and pavlova. Dubai is popular for the world's class shopping experience, iconic buildings, and luxury hotels. It has a self-proclaimed 7-star hotel, opulent mall, extraordinary nightlife, and whatnot. When it comes to Dubai, opulence and expenses reach new heights. It lays claim to Burj Al Arab Jumeirah, the world's only self-proclaimed 7-star hotel that's shaped like a dramatic sail, and comes with revolving beds, on-demand chauffeured Rolls-Royces, and gold-plated iPads. The city also has a man-made series of islands shaped like a palm tree, complete with water and marine animal parks, an indoor ski resort, ultra-luxe shopping at dozens of malls, including the opulent Mall of the Emirates, and explosive nightlife scene where bottle service practically feels obligatory. Even traditionally lower-cost venues like the souks markets can carry high price tags, especially the gold, perfume, and textile souks, where you can find everything from Indian saris and jewelry to electronics and cameras, along with a few, mostly, affordable souvenirs and trinkets. It is indeed not a cheap destination to visit by tourists, but yes, it also depends on the spending habits of a person. Tokyo, Japan's busy capital, mixes the ultra-modern and the traditional, from neon-lit skyscrapers to historic temples. Tokyo is famous for Harajuku, Tsukiji Fish Market, Akihabara, Sensoji Temple, cherry blossoms, Meiji Shrine, Shibuya Crossing. So you ever plan to visit Tokyo, never miss these iconic places. But while visiting Tokyo, there are few things you have to avoid, like tipping, talking loudly on the train, taking pictures without permission, wearing your shoes inside, blocking the escalator, getting close in public, and ignoring chopstick etiquette. So you have to always keep in mind these few things. Japan is not a cheap place to take a tour, but yes, it is not a prohibitively expensive country than you may think. You may still visit the city of Tokyo in the budget, if you choose street food or cheap fast food restaurants, accommodation in hostels, and transportation through trains or buses. However, Tokyo has the most expensive hotels and restaurants, but you can still find some hotel rooms under $100 per night. Los Angeles is a sprawling Southern California city and the center of the nation's film and television industry. Near its iconic Hollywood sign, studios such as Paramount Pictures, Universal, and Warner Brothers offer behind-the-scenes tours. The city is internationally known for being the home of the rich and famous, Hollywood, the main home of major entertainment companies, bad traffic, ethnically diverse, and the second-largest city in America. Los Angeles is the ideal destination for movie fans, as there are so many movie studio tours to take. Plus, music lovers will love exploring the music-themed attractions located around the city. All of these factors contributed to Los Angeles' number 8 ranking in the Bankrate study of the most expensive U.S. vacation cities. A 5-day vacation will cost around $165 per day, including average daily food costs, public transportation, and a hotel. For all those wanderlust who are ready to spend on their vacation, Los Angeles is the best choice for them. However, when it comes to budget traveling, then it is not a good option. Tourists in Los Angeles will have to deal with expensive accommodation in hotels, tourist activities, food, and even rental cars. However, you can reduce a bit of cost by sharing the accommodation and having food from the street markets. When you talk about the most expensive countries to visit, New York can't be neglected. Undoubtedly, it is the most expensive city to visit and live in. New York is always a whirlwind of activity, with famous sights at every turn and never enough time to see them all. Some people come here to enjoy the Broadway shows, others come specifically to shop and dine, and many come simply to see the sights. The Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, Brooklyn Bridge, Central Park, historic neighborhoods, and numerous world-famous museums. Many of the best places to visit in New York are within walking distance of each other, or just a short ride away, making this city a delight for sightseeing. New York City is home to more than just pigeons, and Central Park is an amazing place to birdwatch. Some of the newer tourist attractions that have opened in New York in recent years, like the High Line and One World Observatory, offer unique perspectives of the city. Any time of year and any time of day or night, there are an endless array of things to see and do in New York. You need a salary around $30,294 per year after taxes, which means that to live a reasonably comfortable life in New York City, a single person would need to make a salary of roughly $40,000 per year. Making a budget trip to New York can be challenging, but still, it can be done if you do little research earlier before visiting the city. You can look for food at cheap prices at few places, and transportation charges can also be saved while choosing public transport. Zurich is referred to as the most expensive city to visit in Europe. The whole of Switzerland is known for being a costly destination. Zurich is famous for luxurious lifestyles, high-end shopping, and fancy chocolates. However, despite its expense and extravagance, it is also ranked as one of the best cities to live in the world. Take a stroll, go for a bike ride, or simply enjoy a sunset cruise. These are all things you can, and perhaps should, do on Lake Zurich. Not only are the views breathtaking, but the waters are clean and always inviting. A trip to Zurich for a week usually costs around $1,433 per head. However, based on the spending habits and the comfort, you can still choose to explore the city on a low budget. The cost of transportation and accommodation are significantly expensive in Zurich. To save money while touring this city, you can choose an apartment rather than a hotel, supermarkets for food rather than going to restaurants, and go for public transport instead of a rental. Hong Kong is renowned worldwide for its jungle of glass and stones and deep natural harbor. With a land mass of 1,104 square kilometers on which 7 million people stay, Hong Kong is the world's most densely populated city. Hong Kong attracts chefs and restaurateurs from all over the world and boasts the most restaurants per capita in Asia. The city has a rich gastronomic landscape with authentic Chinese and global cuisines, rustic local noodle joints, fine dining, hipster microbreweries, and healthy vegan cafes. Hong Kong is the most expensive cities in the world to live in. However, you can still find cheaper options for eating, outdoor activities, and exploring the city's landscape. You can choose public transport for commute and open markets for good. Apart from this, you can enjoy free hiking, beaches, and mountains on your vacation. Costs jump when you want to eat international cuisines, stay in a luxury hotel, and demand fancy drinks. You can't neglect the famous city of France, Paris, that welcomes a huge number of tourists every year. Paris is also known as the city of romance and famous among lovey-dovey couples. It is the most expensive vacation destination to visit by tourists. People just love to explore its quaint cafes, chocolates, wines, pastries, and the pretty Eiffel Tower at night. It is the best, but expensive city to visit by newly married couples. The royal castles, lavish cathedrals, and impressive architecture in the city make it a worth visit for tourists around the world. Another thing people love about Paris is the huge amount of bridges. We don't only love them, but also all their surroundings. Paris has 2 gorgeous islands in its center, and this area is the most beautiful one to go for a walk. They all have their own specifics, and they're all unique in their own way. Paris is known as the City of Light, or the City of Love. The streets of Paris overflow with culture, art, beauty, and history. There are at least 3 replicas of the Statue of Liberty in Paris. If you are a newly married couple, then you should definitely plan a trip to Paris. With an average per-night hotel rate hovering around $500, the City of Lights layers on the expenses, and that's before you calculate the costs of all your eating, shopping, and museum hopping. It's one of the most expensive cities in Europe, though fluctuations in the euro could help stateside visitors benefit a little on the exchange rate. Not to take anything away from a decadent $300 per person meal at Le Jules Verne, located on the 2nd floor of the Eiffel Tower, but you can always snag a fresh baguette, a bottle of wine, and some cheese from a local bistro and gaze up at that icon wherever you stage your on-the-cheap picnic. The island city-state of Singapore has carried the dubious distinction of being ranked as the world's most expensive city for 5 years in a row. Much of that aligns with the high cost of transportation. It's the most expensive place in the world to buy and use a car. But prices for everything from clothes to groceries to a bottle of table wine, $24 on average, run high. Travelers can easily go big here. A night at the Shangri-La Suite on the 17th floor of the eponymous hotel can run over $8,000. But mere mortals can likely score a room at a different property for around $200, and then dip into the high-class deep end by visiting the lobby of the Shangri-La or other Insta-worthy spots like the Warehouse Hotel or Hotel Mono. It is mostly visited by honeymoon couples, professionals, and people with great wealth. Singapore is famous for having some of the cleanest streets in the world. Singapore has a reputation as the Garden City, evident in how well manicured and lush the public spaces and even the roads are. Singapore's skyline has changed dramatically in the last 10 years with the introduction of Marina Bay Sands. Can you believe that this entire Marina Bay area used to be an empty plot of reclaimed land and seawater? One of the tourist must-dos in Singapore is to head to Long Bar at the iconic Raffles Hotel for a Singapore sling cocktail and the novelty of throwing all your peanut shells on the floor. Orchard Road is perhaps the most busy stretch of road in Singapore, a 2.2-kilometer stretch with many luxury shopping malls lining the road on both sides, and sees locals and tourists alike crowd the malls on weekends. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this one. Leave us a like, we always appreciate it, and don't forget to subscribe for future updates.